What advice did Edgar Cayce give for those suffering from poor vision or eye disorders? So in this video, we are specifically going to cover just general vision in and of itself. Specific eye disorders, you can leave a comment if you'd like to know what is written about that. But we're going to go over vision, which is pretty on theme for me because I am nearsighted. I have about 5 pairs of glasses scattered. I just have like a pair in every purse or somewhere on every surface. There's two here now. And in the age where we are more and more dependent on technology to work and study or entertain ourselves, we are not really using our eyes in the way that they were intended to be used, if that makes sense. So I'm nearsighted. I've developed nearsightedness. That's getting worse progressively, okay, because I'm doing this all the time. Sit and read most of the day, whether a book or my laptop or my phone. I'm sure other people do as well. Like my best friend stares at two screens and many, many Excel spreadsheets. So, first and foremost, my name is Monica. Welcome to Guru Grit. This is a place for learning. You ask me questions, I try to answer them to the best of my ability, and I just share things that I'm interested in. It's like a digital diary, basically. If you're interested in learning more, I'm an astrologer. You can book with me on gurugrit.com. Visit me on Instagram, message me there, or TikTok. I have an Etsy shop where actually I've posted this book, so I have a lot of Edgar Cayce books and other such things. So let's get into it. Yes, TikTok, I'm going live later. Yeah, I post a lot. I'm all over the place. Okay. If you catch me, it's like a stroke of luck or a fluke. So let's get into what Edgar Cayce says about vision. So the first thing he mentions, actually, and I did show a diagram from this book. I just found it interesting in a recent previous video where he gives these exercises. So first and foremost, he says, vision, you should turn to source, meaning God or your soul, your higher power. Okay, so I believe in a creator. I'm a monotheist, so I would assume the word God or whatever that is for you. And you would hand something over to God. So the reason for this is his explanation, and I think a lot of other spiritual people would say that if your eyesight is failing, you literally, this is the literal manifestation of one's inability to see the truth, to see a situation clearly, to see their past with clarity or lightheartedness and forgiveness, and most importantly, to be self aware. So to actually see yourself as you truly are. Okay, so if your vision is going down, then it's probably because we're too distracted. And I think I'm going to hold myself accountable. That's probably the case for me. I'm addicted to learning. I'm a student of life. I love the dispensation of knowledge. It's my passion and information, good information, not misinformation. And so it's like a permanent chase. You're always looking for something more. You're always getting another course. You're always going back to school. You're always doing these things that's something outside of yourself. So you're not sitting with yourself. You're not seeing inside yourself to your full potential. So that's the first thing. He says you must pray on it and you must reflect why your eyes are failing you. Basically, you have failed them. It's inverted. Okay, so basically we have this thing, especially I think in modern medicine, Western medicine, that the body is dumb and it just does things we can't understand. It just does things we can't explain, and things just happen to the body. Okay, so this is spiritually, this is a flawed premise. It's smart. Your body's very intelligent. The cells of your body are very, very hyper intelligent, and your body knows how to heal itself, but you have to let it. You have to let it do what needs to be done. So that's the spiritual thing. Physically, actually, he says when he goes into the Akashic records that he pulls a lot from the Chinese traditional healing traditions. Okay, so I have a book here by Montauk Chia. I've been speaking a lot from in the previous videos. For those that don't know, I love Montauk Chia and Dr. Ji Gang Sha. Okay, soul, mind, body medicine, and they're give the same advice, but they're very, very helpful. So, okay, physical things, basically, he says you could make for the eyes, if they're inflamed, if they're puffy, if they're irritated, you can make what he calls an Irish potato poultice. Okay, so just make a poultice out of potatoes. We know potato juice is quite nutrient dense, is very healing, could be used for many things. Actually, you could even use like potato peels or like thinly sliced potatoes to improve skin complexion. I find that really fascinating. Boric acid is also said to be helpful. Castor oil rubbed, I wouldn't put it in directly in my eyes, but you rub it around the eyes can be very, very helpful. As we know, Edgar Cayce discusses the benefits of castor oil quite a lot in his readings. probably more more so than any other remedy. All right, so I've got some here. This, I don't ingest this because it's packaged in plastic, but I do have when you purchase it from the health food store in a dark brown glass bottle, then you could probably, it's probably higher grade. But you can also get castor oil capsules if you're interested in that, though be warned, it's a powerful laxative. He also mentions that pressure on the first and fourth dorsal of the spine. He says a lot of vision, poor vision, is linked to the spine, and that the spine isn't properly stretched. It's compressed or really tense. So he actually discusses the importance of full body stretching and massages. Okay, we don't use our bodies to their full capacity, I feel, especially in the modern age, because we're kind of like cramped when we're commuting to work. A lot of us sit for work, and then we sit on the way home, and then we get home and we get on the couch or we get into bed and doom scroll. So you're just sort of very dormant. Okay, so stretching of the spine is quite important. He also mentions the parasympathetic nervous system being linked to the eyes and the kidneys and the liver. So I'll get into that. So so that's, just want to get that out of the way. Those are the physical things you can do. And now going directly to the eyes, he mentions morning eye exercises that he would do. Okay, so he has them in this book. This is his morning exercise program. This book is on my Etsy if you'd like it. Okay, very simple according to the diagram. All right, you see there's pressure points. So wherever these pressure points are, here you could kind of like press and move laterally or rotate. And him and Montauk Chia also discuss the importance of pressing on the tear ducts. We basically don't like flush out our eyes, okay? So I'll discuss what Montauk Chia says about that. But let's say you would press, and in traditional Chinese medicine, numbers are important. Sounds are important. They correlate to numbers. Okay, for the occultist, this is sort of like the Hebrew alphabet. There's a numerical value to things, and you can flip it and try to find more meaning as you're reading through whatever. So the numbers 9, 36, and 72. So I'm going to say 36 is a good number. So let's say 36. So a friend of mine is actually getting her Qigong certification, and she told me these. I said, is there anything? This was like 2 months ago. I said, is there anything for the eyes? I was driving, and she was like, actually, yes. And she said that her teacher did this and healed her dad's eyes after a few months, and she healed her own vision. She doesn't wear glasses anymore. And you'll find different variations of these exercises, but I guess just like pick ones that work for you. So the first thing that they would recommend is to be outside. Okay, we don't spend enough time outside. In the olden times, pre-technology, if you were having a bad day, this is why like things, I think is it EDMR or EMDR? If I get the letters screwed up, but it's very important because what we're doing these days is we tend to look straight, okay? And we're scrolling or swiping. Okay, we're reading very, very minimally on small screens. In the old times, you would sit outside and watch the wind blow through the trees. The span of your vision was vast and wide and far and deep. Okay, so there's actually some people who, if I'm interested in crime and things like that, but people who get out of prison, long-term prison sentences, and their vision improves because they're not in cramped spaces reading anymore. So one of the things I remember, one person, he has a YouTube channel, I forget their name, but he got out of prison after, I think he did like 10 or 14 years, and he said he stopped wearing glasses because he would take evening walks and take his glasses off and just stare off into the distance, look at the field, look at the sun setting, look at the forest in front of him, and actually like utilize the full like utility of his eyes basically. And I thought, oh my god, that's so smart. So I stopped wearing my glass because I never leave the house with my glasses. I wake up and put them on, and I just leave them on until I go to bed. So I stopped doing that. So that's actually also really good for your brain chemistry. It's good for your mental health. It's good for your mood. Okay, so because you're not just like cramping this very short-sightedness spiritually and literally. Okay, so that's the first thing. Go outside and try to pick a point in the distance and focus on that point in the distance. So just pretend you're far away from me. And then she says, basically, you can push here, kind of like he's showing in the diagram, and look up and then down 36 times. So you're kind of like stretching, and you can feel the stretching. And do it this way as well, 36 times up and down, left and right. And Edgar, Cayce, and Montauk Chia also say, okay, with the eyes closed, close your eyes, and in one direction, so let's say clockwise, you're going to close your eyes and rotate your eyes fully 36 times in one way. And when you're done that 36 times, you go the other direction, so counterclockwise 36 times, okay? Do this every morning. He even says doing this for your eyes actually wakes you up. It feels good, okay? Like you become more alert. So those of us who are trying to drink less caffeine, maybe that could be really, really helpful. All right, on to Montauk Chia. So he has a section here on eyes. And I just want to read out a little excerpt. It's very short. It says, if you have time, do the Tao rejuvenation. He actually has a video on his official channel on this. It's about like a minute and 40 or 42 seconds. Of all the senses exercises, the eye exercises are my favorite. Daily maintenance is the best prevention. Many times we do not pay much attention to things that are close to us, like the water and air around our faces. Many people wash their faces but seldom wash their eyes. When working outside all day, very small particles of dust and all kinds of fiber get into the eyes and clot the tear ducts. Make sure to massage the tear ducts. Wash the eyes with cool, clean, or boiled water. Obviously, it has to be cooled. Use a bowl in which you can immerse your face, open your eyes, and move the eyes around. This will get the dirt and particles out. It will also help you remain more awake. Okay, so he gives a little diagram, and he makes a really good point. And his little exercise showing in the directions you move your eyes. So you would have this water cupped, and you would open your eyes and look up, down, and left and right to clean out the actual eyeballs. I find this is really, really spiritually fascinating because cleanliness is so important. And I know there's like that famous saying, it's very Virgoan, like cleanliness is next to godliness. And we wash our bodies, we wash our faces. We don't tend to clean our spirits. I think spiritual hygiene is very important, but this is one thing I think like Muslims get right is that they clean their form when they're going into prayer. So they're physically clean when they're seeking spiritual cleanliness. And I believe this has a lot of power. So when I studied, I've discussed before, Tantra, uh, it's like something you don't do is approach divinity when you're filthy. So you shouldn't, smoke and then pray and evoke the name of God or something divine. Like it's considered filthy, like your mouth is dirty. Why would you do that? So I think the same is true of the eyes. It's interesting. We clean inside our mouths, our noses, our ears. We can get colonics or something like that, but you don't clean the eyes, which I find very, very strange. So clean your eyes, okay? So get the dirt and the little fibers and the dust particles, especially if you are, in a physical kind of work setting, like you're welding or in construction or whatever, okay? So that's very, very important to clean out the eyes. All right, and then in Soul, Mind, Body, there's several things on conditions of the eyes, but we're just going to go into nearsightedness. He says chant 7-1. Okay, so chi yi or chi e, or pronounced 7-9 chi jo. Okay, so visualize bright golden or white light flowing from the liver to the point midway between the eyebrows. So from the liver into like the third eye, so your spiritual sight. So he says the liver opens the eyes. Quote, in traditional Chinese medicine, the eye is connected to the liver meridian. The eyes often reflect the health of the liver, which is really interesting because liver detoxes things. And as I mentioned in previous videos, it stores anger. It's closely linked to the kidneys, which store fear. So I gave sound exercises for pushing those out of the body. And Edgar Cayce also discusses this. He says that failing sight or poor sight or eye disorders, anything to do with vision, basically will come from poor detoxification and elimination. And actually, I do have people asking me about constipation all the time, but I think that they're joking, so like they're serious. So we'll do a more in-depth review of constipation. Montauk Chia says that a lot of the times people think that they get constipated because they're stressed. Actually, they're stressed because they're not eliminating properly. So Edgar Cayce backs this up as well. So he says that poor elimination of the lower intestines is linked to a lot of disorders in the body, etc. And so it's linked to the liver function, it's linked to the gallbladder, it's linked to the kidneys. So it's the same. So basically it's like we're storing fear. Like sometimes people are afraid of the future, or maybe let's say like, someone gets slapped with divorce papers. They don't know what their future is going to look like. And they're in complete, emotional chaos, rightfully so. So their vision starts to decline because they're afraid of the future, or like someone like my vision started to go downhill in my first or second year. I think it was my first year of university, probably because I had no idea what I was doing and like nobody was helpful and I didn't know what my future would look like. So I kind of manifested that on some emotional level. So assess why you're fearful. That's the most potent thing that he recommends. And then he also says, to do the like figure out what it is. Is it just the vision? Are your eyes puffy? Are they inflamed? There is a section here for puffiness of eyes, okay? So it's to correct the internal distress, giving special attention to the kidneys. Recommended in 4 cases were spinal adjustments in the form of either osteopathy, chiropractic, or neuropathy with special focus on the lumbar vertebrae. So once again, releasing pressure from the spine. A lot of us, like I'm sitting at a computer right now, I'm a little bit hunched over. I don't have the best posture. So that could also contribute to it. So it's important to, again, have good posture, stretch your spine. I think the spine is spiritually, we should keep the spine straight. There's a lot of symbolism and imagery to that in the things I'm interested in, but it seems to definitely be linked to a lot of problems with vision as well. All right, so anyways, for puffy eyes, 5 individuals ranging in age from 40 to 77 years consulted Edgar Cayce regarding problems with puffy eyes and received a total of 6 readings. In all cases, the puffiness was regarded as symptomatic of internal imbalances which could be corrected. Pressures on the kidneys would interfere with the circulation and nerve supply to the eyes, resulting in the puffy appearance. The pressures could be the result of spinal misalignments, kidney infections, glandular imbalances, liver kidney incoordination, or any combination of these problems. So as previously mentioned in my other videos, really good natural things for the kidneys actually. And liver is going to be, ta-da, milk thistle. Okay, so milk thistle, very, very powerful for the liver. Ginger, garlic, turmeric, those are liver-loving things. Green tea. Okay, so basically anti-inflammatory is good for the liver. Kidneys, dandelion root, burdock root, also good. So these are from the health food store. I mean, they're relatively affordable. Side effects are pretty minimal. Again, it's not medical advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is what I take. So these are what I take. And yeah, try the exercises. The woman who's teaching my friend so she can get her Qigong certification said that it worked. Depending on how far vision has deteriorated, you should see results in something like, I think for her, she said something like 2 months. And for her father that's in their 80s, it was about, I think, like 3 to 6 months. But you just have to be consistent and keep doing that. So try to get your spine realigned. If you don't want to go to a chiropractor, which is fine, I've never gone to one, just never really thought about it. Maybe one day I will. Maybe some yoga or some stretches. He gives a lot of stretches about just like being able to touch your toes would like be very, very good for one's health. Again, cleaning out the eyes and working the eye muscles, not letting them atrophy and just become weak. So just, and I would suggest just less screen time. Try to go outside, try to look up at the stars. Like this is what we used to do. We used to light a fire, sit around our elders and just listen to them tell stories as the stars move through the sky night after night. We don't do that so much now, right? We're all isolated. We're all staring at our, streaming services on computers and whatever. So in any case, yeah, it'd be very, very helpful to look at far distances. And when the teacher told my friend, she said, pick a point in the distance, do the exercises. And then when you're done, you kind of like look away and then you look back and see if you can see that point in the distance much more easily. Okay, so you keep doing it until you can see it very clearly, basically. So just keep going. So I hope this has been helpful. I think in the next video, I'll focus on elimination. This, like going to the bathroom, according to Edgar Cayce and Montauk Chia, is linked to just general well-being. Okay, people that have a lot of nervousness, anxieties, all these things are just linked to the inability to let go of what's in the body, and it's kind of stewing there and causing a host of problems. So thank you for listening. You can find me on Etsy, everywhere, as I mentioned in the intro. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your question and your comment. And I have a couple of other messages and things I'll address, but I'll have to do a little more research. They're more the side effects of, as I discussed in a previous video for baldness, the hemorrhaging of sexual energy, which is resulting in that, and it's causing other like sexual issues, okay, like actually being able to become aroused or stay aroused and perform things like that or enjoy it, okay. So I'll have to do more research on that because yeah, I don't think that anyone ever went to Edgar Cayce and said, I have a porn addiction. Can you please help me? So they use very specific language. So I have to figure it out. Okay, so I'll get to you when I have a chance. But the next thing I'm going to do is constipations. Thank you so much for being here. Have a beautiful Thursday. God bless you all. I love you. Bye for now.